Welcome to the Astoria Filmmakers Club podcast, also known as the AFC podcast. My special guest today is do you go by Anna or Anna?
Anna.
Anna. All right, so Anna, it says Anna Alumni. Seems like you have a background in modeling. You had have you ever worked for like Armani or anything like that?
I have not, but I've done campaigns for like Guess. I did that back when I lived in Los Angeles. I've gotten a couple offers to do Playboy, but I have respectfully declined because it's not really kind of up to the par of high fashion I'm looking for. So I've never like pursued those endeavors, but like I've done a lot of magazine covers, as you probably saw. So I have my variety of things.
I did see it on your resume. I'm not a big magazine reader necessarily, but I recognize you, and I'm really curious, Anna. What made you decide to pursue modeling as a career?
Well, it's kind of like, I'm going to be very honest. It's from a pure vanity perspective. So when I was like younger, I mean, I'm young already, but younger. I've always kind of like looked at the magazines when I was going in the stores with my mother, grocery food shopping. Like I would see Glamour, I would see Elle, I would see Vogue, I would see all these different magazines. And I'm like, oh my God, I'd love to be on the cover of one. And kind of growing up, I was like a little bit of like the odd one out. I was like a weird nerd. I wasn't like glamorous at all. But I've always told people like I'm going to be on a magazine cover. And first they would laugh at me because, they would look at me like a tomboy with sweats. They're like, what are you talking about? And it's kind of was always like an ambition. I like the modeling world, but in particular, I was more after the notoriety of like, AKA being on a magazine cover. Cause like there's a billion models, like, right, they're a dime a dozen. But I just think the goal of getting to modeling was to be on magazine cover. So.
Oh, all right. So how many magazine covers do you think you might have, been on by now?
I mean, I'd say by now, it's definitely over 20. So it's either between like 21 and 23. And then I do have more coming up this year, actually, but I kind of like been slacking on those a little bit because I have like a lot of other projects that took kind of, priority. But,
Sure.
One of my magazine covers is right behind me, actually. My Swagger magazine cover.
So what's Swagger magazine all about?
That's like an online magazine and it's like for men, but it's more of like kind of like a what's it called? Like a de jour like version of men's magazine. So it's not like a Playboy thing, but it's more like lifestyle. Like they talk about Rolex, they talk about all this stuff, but it's kind of like a men's like, kind of lifestyle magazine, but of course with like, hot women on the cover. So.
Gotcha. I'll have to check that out, being a man, see if anything catch my interest. I actually, when you spoke about Glamour magazine, it actually reminded me that I actually have worked for Glamour once.
I was doing what?
I was the guy serving champagne at the after party.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
you're still among them. So that's what matters.
I guess. And, I got to pay the rent. So it was a lot of fun. Have you ever done an after party down at Spring Studios in Lower Manhattan?
I have. I mean, I've attended a lot of after parties down there, like during like New York Fashion Week. Of course, That's one of the best ones are. So it's a great place, but too downtown for my taste, honestly, because I'm an uptown girl.
Uptown girl. All right. Tell me, do you know the whole lyrics to that song?
I don't. I just know uptown girl, and that's about as far as my knowledge goes. I'm more into like the rap and hip hop kind of music scene. So that's more like to my taste.
Like the Three Migos or guys like them?
Migos, 21 Savage, Drake. I like Young Dolph, R.I.P. Young Dolph. And then I like Jay-Z, 2 Chainz. So I love rap and hip hop. Like that gets me going. I love the beat.
Have you ever been to like any original showcases for up and coming artists in the Manhattan area?
I have not, no. I mean, I actually have never been to a concert, surprisingly. Not one. And I do want to this year because I love The Weeknd, and I saw Drake perform live in St. Bart's at the UNICEF Gala. So I was like right up stage, but it's not the same as like a concert. So I have to go to a concert because I love music too much not to go to a concert. Like it's just been ridiculous. I haven't been to one, but
Oh, have you ever been to Madison Square Garden before?
I have. But like I went there for a basketball game.
Oh, that's fine. My first experience at Madison Square Garden was watching Van Halen live.
Oh wow.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
Now I like MSG. It's a beautiful venue. Lots of great things go on there, but no concert for me yet. But I plan to change it this year.
Was there anybody in particular that caught your eye saying this was my first concert and check off the list, worth it?
I mean, I know The Weeknd is doing a tour and Madonna's doing her last world tour and Drake is doing he's finally going on tour after I don't know, 7 years. So that's also a big, big deal. And he also has a concert at MSG, which I know will be insane. So I can't miss that.
You were describing earlier sort of kind of being the nerd and the odd duck of the mix. So what do you mean by that? You were more into just your own thing?
Yeah, I mean, I was very standoffish. I wouldn't wear makeup. I wouldn't do my hair. I would do my sports and do my homework. And I wasn't glamorous at all. I would basically be the most unglamorous person, and I would not be social. I would be shy. I would eat lunch by myself. I was really the odd one out, for a minute. But then
I can relate.
Huh? You can relate?
No, I can relate to that because I was just the kid eating lunch by himself, didn't really have those lunchtime conversations and would just kind of play my own games, master handballs, and I was just that kid.
Oh yeah, no, I was just like that too, but then it changed. So
well, what was it that changed?
Well, it's a very funny story of how it happened. So I won't bore you to death with the story, but long story short, I started doing this workout program at home called Brazilian Butt Lifts, and it was coached by this Brazilian guy. So I started doing his little workout butt lift program, and so I wearing yoga pants, and I noticed my butt was looking really good. And so I was like, okay. And then I kind of started with a little bit of makeup here and there. And then, I mean, when I was in high school, Victoria's Secret was so popular. It was the thing to have Victoria's Secret yoga pants. That was the fad. Every girl, if you had that, you're the coolest person ever. So literally I was okay. So little by little, I started kind of wearing the makeup, the earrings, the yoga pants. I started getting more male attention. And then I was okay. So it kind of was a little snowball effect. And then I also joined the varsity track team, and I was varsity, it was my first time joining track, and I was varsity right off the bat. And I was the fastest girl on the team without even training with the team. And the girls automatically hated me. So to piss them off even more, I wore a hot pink Nike Pro Combat spandex, which was and a hot pink t-shirt. And I have the black hair. So I was little dark haired Barbie. So that's how my journey started.
And so that was not your team color at all.
No, not at all. I mean, we were yellow and blue, kind of gold and blue. And they would wear weird, wacko, off-brand clothing. And I'm I'm here, all pink and Nike. What's going on? I was
were you leaving these girls in the dust just really?
Big time. I wouldn't even train with them because I'm you guys are so slow. I can't win a race if I train with you. I need to go run by myself. Because the way I got so fast was I was training all by myself all that time. And I had 2 PE classes back to back. I would do 2.
Oh, so you were active, you were moving.
Oh, 100%. I'm a cardio bunny.
Did you have a least favorite subject in school? Something you just didn't like? Or were you a straight A?
Math. I hate it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I got lucky. Math was the only thing I was actually decent at, but I didn't know I was good at until I hit college.
No, but it's useless because okay, you only need to know addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, all of the calculus and the square root of pi or whatever they're doing. It's I'm not an engineer and I don't want to be an engineer, so this knowledge is literally worthless to me.
It's rare that you actually use that in real life.
Super rare. You never use it. You have your phone now. All you need to do is calculate percentages of something, the tip of something or a mortgage or whatever. But the bank does all those numbers for you anyway. So it's why do I need to burden myself with this? I don't.
have you ever had like an experience in the industry where the business side was more of like a turnoff to pursue it and continue?
I mean, a little bit because what's happened, especially with the modeling industry, is like there's so many, and I know this is going to sound crass, but this is New York, so people are blunt. Um, like a lot of women are very desperate, like to be in the modeling industry by any means possible. So that means they'll do like, fashion shows for free, or they'll like do whatever at like a very, very low rate. So, I mean, I like the business side of things, but like when they kind of say, okay, we want you to, be on the shoot for like 10 hours and pay you like $100, it's kind of like, well, if it's something really worth my time, I'd rather get paid zero and really enjoy it than kind of be lowballed. You know what I mean? Because like if I'm doing something for free, I feel like it's within my kind of my jurisdiction, and I make that choice consciously to be generous with my time instead of being paid for like nothing. So it is kind of a turn off, that side of it, but it is New York, so I have no issues, discussing money. I'm not one of those people that go, oh my God, I'm like, no, 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 let's talk business, because my background is in business. I'm a business major. So
Oh, it is.
yes. Uh-huh.
Well, where'd you go to college?
I went to Purdue.
Oh, you did. Oh,
I,
congratulations. That's actually pretty awesome.
thank you. That's
So,
good.
did you have like an idea of like a different type of career, like maybe working as a financial advisor or anything like that?
I mean, I actually switched career choices a couple of different times. So I first wanted to be a cardiologist, but that was like short-lived by a month because I loved cardio. So that was like, I don't know if I want to do this just because I love cardio. And then I wanted, to be, I actually did work in finance briefly, and I did explore the financial advisor background a little bit, but it's a little, I don't know, like mainstream. Like there's too many financial advisors. So I was a business analyst for BlackRock, like for a year, like almost less than a year. But now I like sell high-end commercial and residential real estate. So I like that much more because you kind of get to, work on your own schedule. You work with people, and you can like literally like almost everyone's buying real estate. So it's like you can literally sell real estate to your friends. And it's like very easy to do. And a lot of people refer you to their people. It's actually a great way of growing your network and like meeting people for like whatever different interests you might have. So like I met so many people in like the movie industry and like the entertainment industry from real estate. So it's actually been very like beneficial on both ends.
Gotcha. So, where are you originally from, though? Were you raised in the five boroughs?
No, so I was born in San Francisco, California.
Here we go. Getting a lot of San Fran family members coming on the show.
Really? I'm not the
Yeah.
first.
No, you're not the first one from San Francisco saying hello, like from the Bay Area. I was getting the business on like what kind of shows are actually filming out there, and it's only a
Oh, wow.
short commute to Los Angeles, but they have some nice local short independent student films that
Oh, wow. In San Francisco.
Yeah, in San Francisco, right in the Bay Area.
Very nice. No, it's a beautiful place. So the Bay is nice. Um, so I was there the first how many? I'd say 6 years of my life. So I don't have a really like vivid remembrance of that because I was very mini.
Right.
And then I grew up in the rest of the time in Seattle. Very rainy, cloudy, a little depressing, but great coffee everywhere. Um, and then from there, I lived in LA for a year. I lived in Beverly Hills. I did not like it at all. It was just very superficial, very insincere. Like I'll still go to Los Angeles for events like the Golden Globes or the Oscars. Like I'll still go, and the weather is great, but it's such a long trek. And for me, if I want an LA experience, I'll just hop down to Miami, which is like 3 hours. So it's better use of my time.
So I guess you got some like miles. Was there any like a favorite place that you've ever been to outside of the United States?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So the favorite place, it's a tie. It's a tie. Um, it's either between St. Bart's or Monaco. I love anything French.
Really? Now, is Monaco, is that on the outskirts of Africa?
No. Monaco's
Yeah, like I'm by no means cultured. I've seen.
so Monaco is in
Morocco. Maybe I was thinking of Morocco. That's not right.
Morocco is like somewhere around Africa, but Monaco is it's an hour flight from Paris. So it's on the French Riviera. It's in the south of France. And that's where I'm going next month for the F1. It's one of my favorite places on the planet.
What's the F1?
It's basically like, so the F1, they have a different F1 every 2 weeks in different cities around the world. So it's like NASCAR, but on steroids, like a bougie NASCAR. So it's basically a car race.
Oh, yes. Now I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Yes. So, I'm really, really excited for that. So I'm going there next month. So I love Monaco and St. Bart's. It's tied. I mean, St. Bart's is closer, but St. Bart's is like a little island. So if you're there for like 10 days or more, you get a little bored because there's only so much you can do on that little island, but it's literally like a fairy tale. It's like another world of its own. So those are, I think, two of my favorite places in the world.
Very cool. So because you have an athletic background, you also enjoy the sport of car racing as well, I guess.
I love it. I love the like thrill of competition and like, the pressure of winning. And like, I can only imagine like what those drivers are going through mentally, because when I was running track, it was like every lap was like calculated. And if I didn't hit a certain time on the lap, I was worried it would like mess up my entire end time results. So I love the whole adrenaline rush. I love adrenaline.
So it's a curious thing. So modeling, how much longer do you feel like you're going to be sticking with this? Or did you ever have aspirations entrepreneur wise to like maybe host an event or design in any way?
I mean, so the modeling, I mean, I do like it, but I'm not as like into it as I was, because I'm kind of like, okay, the whole thrill of it is kind of not as enticing anymore. And it's like someone invites me to a runway show, I'm kind of like, okay, that's 6 hours of my time. And unless it's like a really good designer, unless I'm getting like, paid fairly for it, I'm kind of not too keen. But I do like to do like certain campaigns, like magazines. I love doing magazines and like editorial spreads, or like, shoots for brands, like, like some kind of like collaboration, like I'm open to doing. But I recently started a swimwear line, actually last year, so not too recently. But I've just been really busy with my real estate career, and I haven't really focused on that as much as I should. So I'm kind of looping back and refocusing on that again. So that's something I am doing. And then I'm also in the process of opening my own real estate brokerage firm. So that way I can keep more money and give less percent to my firm. So if they see this, they're probably going to be like, bitch,
No, it'll probably be one of those Jerry Maguire things where it's like, who's coming with me? And everybody goes with.
Yeah, but it's like, it's whatever. You're allowed to have dual agency in New York, so it's totally legal. But I'm kind of like shifting more to that and actually more into the movie industry, because everyone always tells me, oh, like you look like Liv Tyler, or you're such a natural born actress and you should get on TV. So I took their, advice and redid my headshots, and I'm getting more on camera. Like right now, I hired a virtual personal assistant that submits me to castings because I can't be everywhere. So
yeah, it's hard.
Divide and conquer is the best strategy. And then I'm actually filming a movie in LA, ironically, in June for 5 days. And I'll have an IMDb producer, an actor credit, and it'll be on Amazon Prime. So I'm really excited because that will give, good reel content. I don't have a reel yet. And it'll kind of like, like push me into the movie industry. So one of my goals this year was to be on TV at least once. So I'm definitely going to surpass that. But, I got that at least once box checked out. So.
Oh, well, you give yourself some time, it's, if it doesn't happen on Friday, it could happen before Monday, so just
crazy. I mean, that's what I noticed, like with all these casting like platforms, like some people like, are you available today to come to set for like 6 hours? I'm like, huh? It's kind of like, it's crazy, but it's good because I like the like kind of the rush of it. It's like a little different animal than modeling, because modeling is very easy now for me. It's like going to do a shoot, pose, do some faces, but acting, you actually have to remember the lines and you actually have to act what the lines like tell you to do. So you can't pretend you're sad and speak in a monotone voice. So it's totally different animal, completely different.
It really is being an actor, but I know nothing about the modeling industry because you mentioned like so many different positions, like you're the model, but I'm curious, like how many positions in the fashion industry would you say there are, just to kind of create, like, what's the point of it? Is it about the material that you produce, or the publication, the magazine? Like what is it? What's the point of it?
I mean, basically, I mean, it's hard to describe because there's so many different positions. Like there's a creative director, stylist, photographer, makeup artist, hair, whatever. Like sometimes like, they're shooting campaigns like video, like a video campaign of like showcasing the product. So there's so many different positions within that. But the ultimate, I think, goal is to create like art, like, a
Yeah.
photo that's like beautiful, glamorous, like, and conveys the message and kind of the whole theme and genre and kind of the point for which you're going for. Like, you're trying to create something like a final product, which is a picture. So a lot of people, they think it's dumb. They're like, oh my God, you're doing so much work and all this stuff for a photo. But I'm like, they say pictures are worth 1,000 words. And especially like when you have that magazine out and like you touch and feel it, and you're like, you kind of like created this. And it's a very like exciting feeling. Or when you see yourself on like magazine stands, you're like, oh my God, like, it's just like it's a thrill. Like it's hard to describe. And you feel like, like, oh my God, like have this and that. So it's a big feeling of accomplishment. So that's honestly what it is. I think it's like just an ego stroke.
Well, is there like the Oscar award for the fashion industry or anything?
The Oscars are for movies. So the Golden Globes, the Oscars, and the Emmy Awards, they're all based on more theatrical aspects. Same with the Cannes Film Festival, which I'm attending. Also based on theatrics, like movies and things like that. There's also the CFDA Fashion Awards. There are those. So there is events strictly dedicated to fashion. But
Gotcha.
as for festivals and award shows, there's more of those dedicated to the theatrics than there is like the fashion sense.
Okay, so those are the FDA awards.
The CFDA, and then there's also the Emmy Awards. Tony Awards are more music, but the CFDA is strictly fashion. And there's a couple of other fashion ones, but it's mostly like theatrical. So.
Oh, so like the Tony Awards is actually a space to showcase certain fashion, not just about the.
I mean, it's more dedicated to like musicians and like giving them awards. Like, for example, there's a what's it called, award show. It always moves around between LA and New York. I forgot the name, but it's also all these events are a little bit combined because everyone that's showing up there for an award, they have the red carpet. They're all wearing some extravagantly fashionable
outfit. Yeah, it seems like there's more to the story happening where it's not just a show. It's also there. It's a platform for like sort of like this intertwining fashion meets film type of an award ceremony.
So there's like both, both ends of the spectrum, but it's mostly dedicated to the theatrical side, music, movies, and everything. But there's definitely fashion involved because all those people are like dressed up in a custom gown or like a specific style, whatever it is. So.
Welcome to Happy Corner. This project strives to make safe housing areas for stray cats at an affordable price. It's so easy to put together that even your children could have fun making one. Help keep cats and other animals safe with their own little Happy Corner homes. You can help this project become a reality by donating to the GoFundMe page. Happy Corner homes are a great way to show those animals in need it's okay to be happy.
So from that transition from this industry, where do you think you might fit in very well when you transfer over into the filmmaking industry?
Well, I think definitely reality TV.
Reality TV.
Uh-huh.
All right. So you want to be a cast member, or do you want to create like its own, like a new show type of thing?
No, I want to be one of the main characters, like 100%. Like I love the attention. I have a very avid lifestyle. I go to a lot of events. I travel a lot. I'm always doing something, and I'm very dynamic. I'm very blunt, and I'm a little feisty, and I have an attitude, and I know I do, and I don't hide it at all. So I think that would be great.
So has there ever been a show of like, I've seen like America's Top Model, like throughout high school, college, like, with Tyra Banks, and there were a couple other shows that I forget, with that supermodel on VH1. She was on.
Naomi, another one.
She had dark hair, blue eyes, California girl. She had her own.
It's another one.
If I saw her face, I would know it immediately. It's been a minute. But have you ever seen a show, or is there a show perhaps that actually shows the switch call it the switch, whatever, where you're actually going from the fashion industry over into the entertainment industry, and the reality of that switch, that transition.
I haven't seen that. No. Mm-mm.
All right, that's your opportunity. You got to make that show.
I should. I mean, that would be like a lot of fun actually. But I mean, it's a lot of work. Like I would think making a movie, even a short movie, is like 30 times more work than shooting a magazine cover. Because magazine cover, you shoot 3 to 4 hours, you're done. The photographer edits the photos, bam, bam. But a movie, like if you have a scene with multiple characters, you have to reshoot it if someone messes up a line or forgets a line, and you have to be in character each time you perform your line. You can't just be like, hi. Like you have to every time. So it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot to handle.
So you want to stay more on the reality side, not so much maybe a theatrical reality?
I mean, I could do theatrical reality. Like I do like action and drama. Like I love those kind of movies. But I also think the reality would be a lot of fun. For example, like I was almost, because this show, I was going to be in the show if it didn't get canceled. So there was a show, I don't know how they found me, but they did somehow, I think from my Instagram, about reality TV show about like the lives of New York real estate brokers. So they actually cast me and 2 of my girlfriends who are also in real estate. And, you know, we did like a billion interviews and Zoom calls and all this like la stuff. But ultimately, I guess Bravo already had enough real estate TV shows, like reality TV, that I didn't need this show. So I was like, oh my God, damn it. But I still got the contact of like the top people at Bravo TV. So I still email them every month and I'm like, what do you guys have going on? So I think that'd be a very easy thing for me to do, because I would just have to be me and I don't remember any scripts or anything, basically just cause drama, which I can definitely do. So.
Oh, great. Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds really, honestly, that sounds really interesting. You know, if I personally would like to see sort of like what the fashion industry and the entertainment industry do have in common, and how somebody could navigate and watch their journey of doing that type of a switch, going over from being a model or vice versa, being an actor, actress, and going and contributing into just that one picture.
Right. Because honestly, I mean, both share one thing, and that's a lot of drama and there's cattiness, because everybody thinks they're the best. Like the photographer thinks he's like the best photographer in the world, or the stylist thinks that, or the director acts like he's Steven Spielberg and he's not. And it's just like, oh my God, just stop. Like, get off your high horse.
So I'm curious. So like, was there ever any, what made you want to actually like now get more into acting? Did you have like an ultimate goal of something you may want to achieve?
I mean, I want to be in a movie that wins an Oscar, wins an award at the Cannes Film Festival. So that's like, I think, very great goal. And a lot of people like tell me I look like a little bit of a blend of a couple of different actresses. Like people are like Monica Bellucci, Liv Tyler, this and that. So I'm like, and then all my friends are like, oh my God, I'm a natural born actress in some situations. I'm like, I'm very good. So I'm like, you know what? I should do that. And I have a lot of personality and I'm not shy and I love attention. I'm not even going to lie. And I love the camera. So I'm like, why shouldn't I go that direction? And everyone's always told me to do that too. Like it's literally, and I go to all like the film festivals anyway. So it's like, you know, I think it's fun.
Did you ever get like, or did you ever have like a favorite film that said, you know, I could do that role while you were attending the festivals?
Movie at the festival or just a role in general?
Just like maybe a role in, how about we'll start with the festival, something you actually like, you were there. It's the first of its kind. No one else gets to see it, but it's exclusive. It's small. It's you guys.
Well, I think it was definitely when I was at the Cannes Film Festival last year. They were playing some, even though it was in French, so I couldn't really understand. But it was kind of like this movie, like this conflicted woman. I couldn't really understand what's going on, but she had like drama kind of like between like 2 guys. I'm kind of like, I could totally play that, 100%. So I'm indecisive. Yeah. I'm a Libra. So You're a
Libra?
I'm a Libra.
Oh, that's another thing I know nothing about, what like zodiacs actually mean.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm very into like horoscopes and everything.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So as far as like, I read here that your favorite film is Dark Knight Rises.
Yes, that is correct.
Why is that your favorite film? I love the movie, but I'm curious, So
what I love about that film is, one, it's kind of the end of like the Batman trilogy. And it's also very like, I mean, the movie's very multifaceted in a way where it's like, okay, there's so many different angles and so many different, like, there's a lot of drama in the movie. And there's also like a lot of action. There's also like a very kind of deeper moral kind of wrap around the movie. And, you know, you think it ends one way, but it ends like a different way. And it kind of just like, it's inspiring. It's really inspiring because it kind of shows like how perfect society in the beginning, and then kind of how society can like uproot itself and take a total decline if the proper elements are sprinkled and introduced to it. And I think we kind of even saw that during the whole like COVID era. And you really kind of saw the darkest side and the depravity of people come from like these sophisticated, open-minded, loving people to becoming like these fear mongers and like, you know, this hatred between different, it was crazy. And I was kind of like, okay, this kind of really highlights human nature.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the end, it shows like, you know, people actually coming together and doing the right thing. And, you know, it was really like, it was a nice wraparound. And like, even though it was depressing, it showed like why some people are the way they are and what can make people from good to bad. And I love the whole thing. It was action packed. It was long, but it was not a boring second of it. Like it was amazing. Like I have no words. Like I watched that movie over and over and I've seen it, and I know the ending. It's just like, it's such a masterpiece. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a great point. Did you have like a favorite actor of all time? Maybe from the film?
Oh, Christian Bale.
That's your favorite actor of all time?
He's amazing. I mean, his movies like The Machinist, what was that guy where he was like the serial killer? I forgot the name. American Psycho.
American Psycho, yeah.
He's just so amazing. And he's like not one of those actors that's like looking for attention all the time. Like sorry, Leonardo DiCaprio, but like, you know, Christian Bale is like,
I'm sure you've heard rumors like from you know, from one handshake away by now.
No, he literally, I've seen him a million times. I literally have a photo with him because he's at all the events I'm at.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay. But Christian Bale is very low key, very classy. You never see him out there. And he's very like, he's just like into his craft. Like this guy is so fucking dedicated and mysterious. And like each of his roles, he like really goes full in. Like he invests like his soul. It's amazing.
Oh, I completely agree. Like, I think like, you ever watch Tarzan from the 90s where Phil Collins did the soundtrack?
I mean, I watched the cartoon Tarzan that was on some network. Is that the one?
That should have been it, because Phil Collins did the soundtrack for that movie.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
it actually it beyond stood the test of time. It actually set a standard where it's like a funny thing going around like here on our side of the industry where we talk about this because it's not a cliche Disney movie, Prince, Princess, or anything like that. This guy actually took modern day rock and roll and took the soundtrack to an entirely different level and just raised the standard so high. And I think Christian Bale does something identical where he actually does do the exact same thing because like in his performance in the most recent Thor Love and Thunder movie when he played a protagonist.
I haven't seen that yet. Oh my God, I have to see it.
You got to get Disney Plus. It's awesome.
I have to see it.
It's worth
like,
it. But
he was a voice or he was like an actual character?
oh, he was a character and an outstanding one at that. He did not take it lightly as sort of like another day at work. He put 100% into that movie and it showed.
Well, he always does. Like he's amazing. Like his acting skills are like unparalleled. Like literally unparalleled.
Was there anything like that maybe the standard that he actually sort of set for actors and actresses, like being an athlete and competitive? Do you think like you could commit to a project that might actually be similar to his commitment?
Oh, 100%. I mean, again, if you're a good actor, you can do any role. But for me, I kind of have to be really into the role per se. But, you know, if I'm really into the role and I like the show, because actors actually decline movies all the time. They say they got offered this and they're like, no, not for me. So I could totally do that 100%. Like if I really need to dedicate myself, I would 100% do it. I mean, I know Heath Ledger did it. And unfortunately, he went too far with that, but he really he was also another really good actor. Like he was also, yeah, almost equal to Christian Bale. Like especially his performance as a Joker was like mind blowing.
One of its kind. Yeah, he said one of a kind. He's definitely set a new standard.
I mean, that what's his name? The other actor. I'm always mispronounce his name. Like Joaquin Phoenix. He did a good job as the Joker, but not as good as Heath Ledger.
Oh yeah, I mean, first impressions, especially when from I can't even remember the Joker prior to Heath Ledger. If it
I don't
was
remember.
unless if it was Jack Nicholson in the early Batman days, he might have been the Joker prior to Heath Ledger. But yeah, it's a tough it's a tough act to follow with Heath Ledger.
And Heath Ledger was like insane. Like oh my god, he blew that role out of the water. I mean, that was almost my favorite movie, but it's a little too one-sided on the dark side. I like The Dark Knight Rises. There's like the dark side and then also the non-dark side. So I'm like, okay, I need a little bit of sunlight here.
Alrighty. And I'm curious, but what about like theater training or like getting like like you ever go to the gym where you're exercising to prepare for a competition, you learn different techniques, different styles. Did you ever get the inclination to maybe train and learn from a very good coach or teacher?
So I actually have and actually did go to there was a very popular training academy when I lived in Los Angeles. It was a little bit like it was on Mulholland, like one of those twisty, windy roads. I forgot the name. It was very popular. So I went there for a couple sessions, and then I trained with one guy here for a couple times. But it is very time consuming, and time is like my most valuable asset. It's also something I don't have enough of. And the problem is this guy was all the way in Jersey. So I'm like, dude, I can't spend an hour commuting there and back. Like that's 2 hours of my time. Like I just can't afford that time wise. I can't. So I've been thinking about doing getting into a school, but I think like I would do more in the summer and I would do it like as a part-time thing, and it has to be local in Manhattan. Like I cannot leave Manhattan unless I'm going to the airport. That's my philosophy.
I'm similar, only like Astoria. Like there's nothing that I need that's in Manhattan that I don't have currently here in Astoria, so
and I'm the same way with Manhattan. Like, okay, the only time I'm going to leave and embark on a 2-hour road trip is I'm going to JFK or Newark, which is the worst.
Oh, forget that. No, I hate JFK. Even if it's a 20-minute commute, I'd rather go to LaGuardia, or honestly, I'm a road trip type of guy now. I like driving. I love seeing the open road, the mountains, the different towns, and just like taking in the journey. If it's an emergency or if I'm going on vacation, yeah, I'll fly or something. But 9 times out of 10, I want to kind of just me and my dog. We're gonna take a road trip.
Oh, nice. What kind of dog do you have?
Snow is a golden retriever.
Oh, is she white?
She is an English cream. Yeah.
No wonder you call her Snow.
Yes, I call her Snow. She was Little Miss Snow or Snowflake, or actually she was Little Miss White when she was born. She was one of 10. So the breeders had color-coded collars on each one of them. And she was there was 10 and I met every single one, but she just wanted to just be around me the most out of everybody while they're playing. And I'm like, all right, I think this one chose me. And
yeah,
now she's my BFF.
Oh, cute. I love it.
Yeah. So she's training to become an actress herself, by the way.
Oh, good. So she can be in a movie. She can get an IMDb credit, right?
I don't know if I would definitely give it to it.
No, I know people, like one of my friends, he had a teddy bear. He gave it an IMDb credit because it was in a movie.
There was a running joke in the AFC for a while, and before that with my roommates and best friends, that my car actually had more screen time than I did in the early days. It gets you. Do you ever get jaded by the process where you feel like it's just not working or not what you thought it would be?
No. I mean, I used to be, and now it's kind of like I honestly think it's about your Rolodex and who you know, not what you know. Like 100%. I forgot I had this really good agent in Los Angeles, and he was actually the one that called me up and he said, "Listen, Anna, like you have a very unique look, and you're missing a lot of roles because you don't have a real and updated headshots." And I'm like, like kind of lit fire under my ass. And I was like, I think he has a point. And then, he said, because I this was actually almost 3 years ago. I was supposed to fly to LA to work with the same producer that I'm going to work with in June. and I had something come up in New York and I couldn't make that movie. So I kind of missed it. And now the same producer is doing another movie. And he's like, I'd love to work with Anna. He told my agent, but he's like, will she actually come this time? And I said, yes. So it's kind of like a little bit of chance of redemption. The fact that like my first movie is going to be a movie on Amazon Prime is pretty good headway, because I think a lot of people, they start out like, I'm not trying to like, dumb down anyone's progress or where they at, what they're doing, but it's like, I think that's a good first start doing a movie that's on Amazon Prime with a guy with like, the guy with 30 IMDb credits, and I get an associate producer credit and an actor credit. So I think that's a really good start. And then there's another movie, like little series I would be doing. I can't say the name, but it's going to be on Netflix. And the producer is actually going to be in Cannes the same time I'm going to be there. So we'll kind of connect on that. And he starts shooting in the summer. And he was also happy. He's like, hey, you like did your headshots and all this stuff. So I think it's all about who you know. And I have a very, very wide Rolodex, and I forget how many people I actually know in the entertainment industry. So once I start actually being like dedicated and focused on something, I get it. But I have to sit down and really be disciplined and focused and be like, okay, I'm getting to this point, and I get there. But again, sometimes it's hard. Like you get lost in the sauce when you live in New York. There's so many things going on. So
it can be easily, distracting where like something else is going on.
Big time.
Well, you're very goal oriented. And I was curious though, like what's the name of the movie coming out on Amazon?
So I can't say the movie yet. They told me I'm not allowed to. So I wanted to post about it on my Instagram, but they're like, no, not yet. Like we'll give you the script and everything next month. And once I have that, I'll be posting about it, of course.
All right. If the podcast comes out simultaneously that week, we'll definitely give you guys a shout out.
Yeah, we'll update it.
All right. I'm excited. So if people wanted to actually reach out to you, what's the best way if they want to connect and maybe, help you build your reel, get you more like, get you like a stronger tool belt for your transition over into the industry?
I mean, definitely the best way to contact me is probably through my Instagram or email. And my email is on my Insta. So they can either send me a DM, or like, there's an email button like on my Instagram on the top, but I know some people aren't as like Insta savvy. But I also do have a website. Like if you Google me, like Anna Alimani, and my Instagram pops up, so is my website. And then there's like a contact me section. So there's a way to contact me. I think if you just Google me, there's multiple contact methods. So, I like being contacted, especially for opportunities. So
I'm sure that things are going to get lit real quick.
So I'm excited. Like, I'm very excited. Like this year has been off on a good roll, and I'm going to do another major magazine, but it won't be until after I get back from France. So.
Well, when's the festival begin?
Oh, it starts May 15th, but like, I don't want to be there that long. So I'm going more towards the end of May. So I get a day on the red carpet, go to the Amphar Gala, and then I go to Monaco. So that's kind of the circuit.
A legitimate festival, like that's 2 weeks.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio comes to that, like it's super legit. It's like the Oscars basically, but in France.
Gotcha. So usually before we wrap up every show, we have a little ongoing trend. It's pretty much like the right words at the right time. When I first started out, I was always reading this book called The Right Words at the Right Time by Marcy Hopkins. And it was just literally a book of essays of celebrities, athletes, politicians who did get the right words at the right time from somebody close to them that literally stuck with them and carried them through like all the hard times to help achieve what they wanted to achieve. So my curiosity for you, Anna, is has there ever been the right words at the right time that somebody has given to you that stuck with you after all this time? Or if not, do you have any words of your own that you'd like to say?
I mean, one of my favorite quotes, because I'm like a quote junkie, so I like collect a lot of quotes, like I put them all in like a little list. So my favorite quote is impossible is a word in the dictionary of fools. So basically nothing is impossible. And I think that's very like self-serving, and it's very self-explanatory. Like it holds a lot of weight and a lot of meaning. Short and sweet.
That's a really good take on it. I've never heard that before.
You know, it is, because it's like a lot of people say it's impossible, and I'm like, okay. I mean, the whole word impossible is I'm possible. So it's like, I don't think anything is impossible.
I think to achieve a goal, you do have to break it down. Don't look at it from
the big like, don't, I mean, obviously it's good to look at the big picture, but like, don't see it like, oh my God, is this like high unattainable thing? To say, okay, what are the steps? Like there's 7 ways to skin the cat. That's how I think about it.
Oh my God. I've never heard that one either. 7 ways to skin the cat.
But it's basically true. Like, okay, there's a couple of different ways to achieve what you want. And sometimes you have to go a little bit different angles, but you know, there's other ways to do it, not just one way. So I'm a very creative thinker.
You really are. And I'm really excited. I think, you know, I can't wait to see like this potential reality show that you pitch. Honestly, you might want to consider pitching your own idea. You know, the best thing to do is always create your own content.
Who knows? I mean, I want to get a movie or 2 under my belt and then like see what happens. Get my IMDb a little more popping. I mean, I already have 3 credits on there, but it's not like substantial, and I'm not going to BS. Like I'm going to say, oh, I have 3 credits. I'm legit. I need more credits and I need more reels and like, so, but I'll get it going.
Well, what's the best way for, you know, the people that in your network to, you know, create new content? What's the best way to actually pitch saying, hey, I need help?
I mean, I just straight up ask them. Like, I'm like, hey, like, I know you're in the movie industry. I want to get into something. Do you have a role for me? I don't care. I just straight up ask. And then they say, oh, do you have like a website, this and that? And like, once they Google me, they're like, oh, you're already like very legit. Like you're already like this and that. You have a lot of notoriety. So for them, it's like a no-brainer. So it's not like I'm coming from under a rock. So they're like, okay. They're like, you have an attitude and personality. So, and they love that because they're creative people. They want someone that's like spunky, you know, that's what the industry is about. So.
You know, I've learned that along the way, you know. It's very spunky. I'm more on the artistic side where it's like we got the network of creating our own content and definitely providing the right tools for anybody to use. That's probably just me. And if I'll never say no to a play. Would you ever want to do a play to just like become an outstanding actress?
I mean, I'd be open. I mean, listen, it's just like you have to build as much as possible. And acting, it's like something you really have to like hone in on. Like it's a skill that like it compounds. Like you're not just going to like pop up and be a good actor. Like, I mean, you can be, but it's tougher than modeling. Let's just say that. A lot.
I think that's the switch we're dying to actually watch, you know, like what's the difference between the two and how to overcome those obstacles.
Because it takes a lot more time and patience is something I lack. So
welcome to the big leagues.
I know.
Well, Anna, I know you got an appointment coming up. I gotta say, I'm really excited to see what happens next for you. Did you have any last words?
No, not particularly.
So if anybody wants to actually see Anna, you can follow her on Instagram. Be sure to like and subscribe to the AFC YouTube page. All the credits, all the tags, all that good stuff. It's all going to be there. And always remember, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Anna, always keep this in mind. Always remember to never forget community, creativity, and joy.
You got it.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Phil.
Ciao for now, Anna.
Ciao. Bye.